Hey everybody. Um, Want to say hi. Do my daily video. Um, I guess everybody heard that Virginia House passed the qualified immunity bill. Um, I got to say I agree with it. I mean, what's brought us to this point? You ask. I mean, a lot of people are griping and complaining about police now at this point, but what's brought us to the point of a qualified immunity bill? I can tell you, and it's going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. Dirty cops have been protected by the good cops for far too long. They will not police their own ranks. So when they wouldn't do it, people cried out. And now the politicians, i.e., the Democrats, are doing it. Whether they're doing it for a political move, but in the end of the day, it protects all of us, right? Um, Talk a little bit about what it really does. I mean, a lot of people are saying, "Well, my God, that means if they write a ticket, they can be sued." Technically, yeah. I mean, but that's the other point of it. Let's talk real. Is this going to keep cops from writing a bunch of crappy tickets, or is it going to keep cops from serving BS warrants that there's really no evidence for? Um, I've got friends that have been charged with a crime that was total BS, and it wound up costing them $10,000-$15,000 in court for for a case that there really wasn't enough evidence. At what point in time should a person that loses their job and everything being charged with some BS crime that there's really no basis for? They lose their houses and everything. Citizens, yeah, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. We all know the justice system is quite opposite of that. You're guilty until you prove your innocence. Meanwhile, the officers get nothing. I mean, if they say, well, they get absolutely nothing. So it comes time there is accountability. Up until the 60s, there was no qualified immunity. They added this. It used to be like that. I foresee if this gets passed in the Senate, that in the upper house, I foresee the day before it goes into effect, a mass exodus of police leaving. Um, I don't know. It's kind of a double-edged sword. I mean, I don't care. Um, I think it leaves room for some real constitutional-minded people to become cops. Um, but I think it's time now that the cops say we need to start policing our own and get rid of the bad actors in this bunch. Because if we don't get rid of the bad actors, they're going to continue to come after us. So, big thing. Police need more training. They need more training on how to deal with the public. I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, I think a lot of police don't know how to deal with the public, or they've gotten complacent in how they deal with the public. Um, Average cop in the United States, 400 to 500 hours of training. Don't you think they should have maybe 1,500 hours of training like they make hairdressers have, or an electrician has to go through a 5-year apprenticeship to become a certified electrician? Why? Because they can wire your house wrong and you can die of electrocution. They want people to know what they're doing, correct? I mean, am I wrong here? Have I missed something, guys? Hey, Neil. Um, we seem to take more. We seem to worry more about bad haircuts, or somebody's going to wire your house wrong, or a mechanic that isn't certified, or a roofer that comes to your house that doesn't have a license and insurance or whatever else. But we're not worried about giving a person a badge and a gun and just turning them loose on the street. Um, it really, when you break it down into those parts, it's kind of disgusting, wouldn't you say? Um, what's the worst thing a hairdresser can do? Cut your hair bad? Dye your hair bad? Maybe burn your hair. Maybe you go bald, but it grows back, right? It's not going to kill you per se. When, if a cop makes a mistake because of bad training, people die or people lose their livelihood or, people lose all confidence in them. Qualified immunity, I'm for it. But I'm also for more training, and I'm also for higher pay that comes with the more training. So right now, cops don't get paid that much because really, and if there's anybody out there watching this that is police, I'm sorry, it's a low skill job, and it gets a low skill wage. I mean, it hurts your feelings, and I'm sorry, okay, but it's the truth. So the end of the day is get more training, demand more money. It's a win-win for the officer and the people, right? I mean, if you require essentially a 2-year law enforcement degree to become a cop, okay, now a cop can say, well, I'm not going to work for less than $60,000-$70,000 a year like a equipment operator or something would do with years of training. Ask yourself, and I know Neil's watching, MSHA, to work in a mine, you have continuous training, hours and hours of training on how to operate a piece of equipment safely in a mine, how to breathe in the mine, how to don and doff gear in the mine, all these kinds of training. Ask the local law enforcement deputy, sheriff, or something how much training they go through a year. Ask them. Because I don't think it's much. I honestly don't think it's very much. I mean, a miner or a construction worker goes through thousands of hours of training. Every year it's continuous training, continuous training, continuous training. Think about an electrician. I'll bring up electricians again. Every year they have to know the new National Electric Code to keep their license. Have you ever looked at the NEC book? I mean, it's like this freaking thing. And they have to know that. And they can be held liable in a court of law if they wire something wrong that's not in the National Electric Code. But a cop can violate the Constitution and doesn't even have to know the Constitution. Doesn't even have to know the Bill of Rights if you sit there and ask him. The Bill of Rights ain't really that hard to read. I mean, it's 10 amendments. The Constitution itself ain't that many pages. How in the hell can we say we expect an electrician to know the code book or know at least where to find it in the code book and don't expect a cop to know the Constitution before he goes out there and arrests people, and we give him the powers to arrest and a badge and a gun, and then we say if he screws up he can't be held liable for his screw ups, but I can sue an electrician for putting in a light socket wrong where the electrician loses his house and livelihood. This is a rant. Sorry, folks, but I'm just trying to point out some obvious things. I'll also post this YouTube link, my YouTube link for this too when I'm done. But let's talk about it. I mean, I'm willing to hear both sides. I want to hear what your thoughts are on it. But if you think I'm correct, I want to hear that too, because no matter what side of the fence we all sit on politically, I think we need to start engaging with each other better instead of attacking each other. And social media is a good tool for all of us, but it's also our worst enemy because it's easy to press the delete or block button on somebody that you don't agree with instead of working through that problem and saying, hey, I'm trying to understand where he's coming from, or I'm trying to understand where she's coming from, or there's got to be middle ground here where we can all agree on something needs to be done. Thank y'all. Be careful. Be safe. Talk to y'all later.